The night is always young in New York. And so, it seems, is this man. His accent is Swiss, but his attitude is all Big Apple. When darkness drapes over this place. Father Time, take a hike. He's walking here, dancing here, dominating here. He's hungry, New York. Feed him with your energy, your lights. All that maestro and magic mumbo-jumbo, save it. This isn't his art studio, this is his alley. Here, he fights. And don't let the debonair demeanor of this Frenchman fool you. His backhand is a thing of liquid beauty, but his heart is stone cold on the court. Tonight, Europe is 1,000,000 miles away. Nobody gets kissed on both cheeks. This is New York. Roger Federer and Richard Gasquet at the US Open. Deal with it.
Welcome, primetime at the U.S. Open, presented by IBM. Roger Federer in the quarterfinals for the 11th time in the last dozen years, taking on a Frenchman playing great tennis with a great attitude, Richard Gasquet. You're going to see some of the finest strokes in the game on display tonight. Let's get you inside Ash Stadium now with the guys calling the match, Chris Fowler and John McEnroe. Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Federer hasn't dropped a set here, but he survived a danger match, winning all the big points, John, against Isner in 3 very tight sets. Now he faces a guy that he's dominated, especially on a hard court in Gasquet.
Well, Isner played well and still couldn't win a set. There's going to be a sense of urgency, Chris, tonight for Federer, because you can see at his age be more complicated to have to play a Thursday, Friday, Sunday potential. So he wants to get this one in and beat Gasquet in a hurry, which he's done many times in the past. So.
Yeah, it's 14-2 head-to-head. On a hard court, Federer is 8-0, and he's won 15 of 16 sets. Nothing to suggest that the rivalry would change course tonight, except that Roger believes, John, that Gasquet has really gained confidence from some nice top 10 wins, including Wawrinka in the quarterfinal round at Wimbledon.
Yeah, that was the biggest win of his career. His best tennis has been at Wimbledon, obviously 2-time semifinalist, and he's got to play more like he does there. He's got to step in, be more aggressive off the return, not backpedal as we've seen it so often in the past. And also he's got to slow Federer's pace. You know, he plays very quickly, and I think Gasquet's got to be more deliberate, give himself time to think this one over a little bit, not get caught into playing the same pace of Roger Federer. Things will happen negatively too quickly.
Yeah, quite often Gasquet has shown resignation pretty early in the head-to-heads against Roger, but Federer does expect more of a fight tonight, in his words, because Gasquet has, even as he approaches 30, been able to win some big matches. This was a huge one. You said the win of his life.
Well, he's supremely talented. He's a great shot maker. He's always been. He beat Roddick from 2-0 down to get to that other semis. That would have been his biggest win. This became his biggest win in my mind, beating the French Open champion. And you know,
Cilic.
But this is important for him to start to get back the belief that he can go big and beat the top guys. And Gasquet has been competing generally harder. And that's a lot to do with a guy by the name of Sebastian Grosjean, a little bit to do with Sergi Bugera, who've been dueling coaches. Grosjean's here.
And they watched their guy, John, beat Tomas Berdych after a slow start in the last round. That's the last of the top 10 wins he's come up with this summer.
He's clearly got a better backhand. I mean, Roger's hitting his backhand as good or better than ever, but still Gasquet's, that's one exchange he'd like to get into often if he could.
Gasquet by far the most backhand winners of any man left in the tournament.
And you know he's going to be tested with that short chip. He's got to be willing to come in off that ball and be aggressive and believe in himself. That's been so such a big problem, Chris, for Gasquet over the years. Belief.
Especially against Roger.
You mentioned the word resignation, and I've seen that in the past way too often with him. Thankfully, you don't see it much anymore.
Way too often and perhaps way too early in matches. I called a match in Miami last year between these two, and I remember Federer's post-match interview saying, I got the early break, then I saved a break point, and, quote, the match was pretty much over. Think about that. In the first set, his feeling was the match was over. That gives you confidence when you feel like the other guy is going to
if you can get one break and tap, that is, you know, hard to believe. That's what Gasquet needs to do to Federer's serve. Federer, as we've talked about, has become more and more aggressive off the return, at times sprinting forward, literally. And I think you're going to see that tonight.
We didn't see the sneak attacks against Isner, did we?
You need to wear a cup if you're going to do that against Isner.
Gasquet holds. You're in rare form already, 2 games in.
I'm loving the fact that I get a chance to see Roger Federer play here once again at night. He loves it. The conditions have been so great for the players to be able to up their level. The noise. I mean, this place is a third full right now, so give it another. They thought they were going to be watching a doubles match. A couple of old guys play doubles, and they didn't think this match was going to start to 8, and that has a lot to do with why there's not many people here.
You don't think they're going to show up to see you and Chang and Courier and Fish?
Something tells me they were going to mosey their way in. It's like when you go see the Rolling Stones play and there's an opening act. You come to see maybe the last song or two of the opening act, possibly.
That's a rare self-deprecating attitude from you, John. But
you know, one time I got to play at the Madison Square Garden with Chrissy Hines, an old friend of mine. She opened the Pretenders, great band. She's in the Hall of Fame for the Stones, and she asked me to come up and play one of her songs, and I asked when that was going to be. Selfishly, it was the second to last song, and people at all, it filled up. So. Oh, that's sweet by Richard there, giving Roger a little dose of his own medicine.
You said that you felt Gasquet had the superior backhand. Now that'll spark a big debate, especially among Federer fans who like to talk about who's got the best one-handed backhand in the men's game. Wawrinka, of course, part of that conversation.
I'll tell you one thing there's no question about. Roger's got the better serve.
123 on that ace. 2-1. Pleasant evening here. Big crowd just getting settled in. An earlier than announced start time, as John mentioned. They're fearful that we haven't seen the last of the rain tonight, and it's pretty essential for the schedule to finish this quarterfinal and the one next door on Armstrong. Wawrinka taking the first set over Anderson there at 2-all in the second. The winners to meet in the semifinals.
Yeah, it's not essential yet for a Sunday final. What's essential is for a guy like Federer at 34 to not have to play back-to-back. And just think, if Stan were to win in straight sets, he's at 6-4, 2-all, and let's just say that he doesn't finish and only plays a couple sets. So not only would he have to come back and play, say, Gasquet theoretically tomorrow, then he'd have to play the semis Friday, and then he'd have to play a guy by the name of Mr. Djokovic, possibly Mr. Cilic on Sunday. So you see that you can tell how stressed he looks about that.
Rogers won 12 straight sets to get here, but you recall the quarterfinal here a year ago, that battle against Monfils, coming from 2 sets down. This is going to be a fun display for lovers of the one-handed backhand tonight.
You hit the nail on the head about the Monfils, that he didn't recover. That's a just exactly why he really wants to get through this relatively easily. And that's exactly why when you watch Richard Gasquet play, you look at something that's truly magnificent, his backhand. If he can compete even close to as hard as the quality of that shot, he will definitely be back in the top 10.
Got as high as number 7. That was after he beat Roddick at Wimbledon in the quarters. Richard is actually the man on this court that has the superior winning percentage in slam quarterfinals, if you can believe that. He's 3-0. Federer 37-8 at this stage of a major.
We've watched some guys, Chris, Lopez being an example last night, who moving in their 30s better than ever. Gasquet, you know, he's late 20s, and he seems to be really, it's some of it's his effort and hustle, but he's moving well. Track down that forehand to help him win that point.
You believe he's one of the guys who's dedicated himself more to fitness at this stage of his career than he did earlier?
Absolutely, because we saw here not that long ago him cramping in matches like this.
15 left.
Richard's also had a history in recent years, back injury, hip injury.
It's all related.
Yeah.
You know, does he get hurt because he's not fit enough? Is he not fit enough because he got hurt? It's hard to, you know, we're just guessing, but a lot of times it's because you can see the people that aren't dedicated as much seem to get hurt more often. Not a coincidence.
Beautiful serving rhythm for Federer early. 6 aces now. He's only lost 1 point in serve so far.
Well, I know Grosjean wants Gasquet to stand in closer, be more aggressive on the return. He may be the one sabering or attacking to try to make contact with these serves. It's unbelievable.
Another fast Federer hold. Keeping an eye on this match while they're eating or chatting, whatever, but this is when you want to pay attention to Gasquet trying to maintain contact early here. So often he's been broken against Roger very quickly. Darren Cahill is courtside. Darren, what could happen to reverse the script that's become so familiar when these two play?
Well, Chris, I think it all starts with the return of serve with Gasquet. That's been his biggest problem. It's two-folded because firstly he has an enormous grip change between the forehand and the backhand return. You know, it's beautiful. And secondly, he likes to stand a long way back because he takes big swings on both of those returns. So to be effective against Federer, you can't stand that far back. That's why we see the ace count already up for Roger. He gets into that serving rhythm. So Sebastian is right. He's got to try to stand up and maybe block a few more of those returns, a bit like Wawrinka, to get into more of those points. A little bit of breeze on the court at the moment. Really humid conditions. It might even be a 2-3 shirt night for Federer, who rarely sweats anyway. But Gasquet is playing with a slight breeze.
This is a really poor game by him, though.
Yeah, Roger will sweat less if Gasquet is going to shank balls like that.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, love 40 in a heartbeat here.
Gasquet in 3 of his 4 matches has dropped the opening set. Really served poorly against Burdick, got behind, and it looked like that might be one-way traffic before Richard turned it around. He looked like he was in trouble in his opening match against Kokkinakis. He was down 2-1 in the heat, but the young Aussie cramped up and had to retire early in the 5th.
But there's a perfect example of a match that not that long ago he would have lost, but he's paced himself better in matches. He's competed harder. He's gotten fitter. So now he's the sort of veteran guy who's able to hang in there against guys that haven't been tested in that way, like a Kokkinakis.
It's so early, John, but I get the feeling this point's huge. If he could get out of trouble, he's saved 2 break points. Could give him a boost. Finishing it beautifully to break.
Roger played a terrific point, but there was a ball about midway through that Gasquet had that backhand. He needed to take that and move in and test Roger, make him hit a pass, and it's Roger who is able to charge forward and just hit an absolutely beautiful volley for the break. Gasquet's got to be fuming that he got tentative there just at the wrong moment. Oh, nasty spin.
15 left.
Watch how well he stops himself, gets himself beautiful balance. His weight isn't moving forward. He's got options. That's what a Gasquet should have done at the 30-40 backhand he had, but unfortunately with the score at break point down, he got a little bit tight, and that cost him the game. Plus, you get careless on one shot, the first one being the most obvious at the point. Totally mishit a forehand. That set the tone for that game.
Gasquet plays so far back, as Darren pointed out. He's had the fewest net approaches of any of these quarterfinalists.
Well, he's definitely not going to play that far back off the second serve tonight. He just hasn't gotten any really so far.
A little dose of Federer medicine as Gasquet charged forward there, and Roger may have taken his eye off of the toss. First double. Gasquet challenging.
That's going to be right on the line. He's in an incredible rhythm so far. How in the world does it get better and better his serve?
Chase review. You're spot on, John. So 8 aces for Federer already.
That's just a bad shot. You know, and Rogers jumping on any opportunity to move forward. It's just excellent start here. Gasquet pulling off that ball. I mean, that's where he's really got to stay down with that. Make sure he gets some depth on that forehand, or he's going to be toast.
Federer backs up the break, stretches it to 5-2. Let's check the IBM insights for today's match. It looks at data from the majors, considers head-to-head, picks out one stat for each guy that will increase his chance of winning sets. A lot of data pointing to a Federer win, John, and the first one is pretty straightforward. He's been serving so well again at this tournament, and looking at the first serve points.
Well, yeah, look at his percentage in this match so far. It's 84%. So you can rest assured that it's even higher. I mean, they probably don't even have stats because that's so high. So you could pretty much put this in the bank for Roger Federer. And for Gasquet, well, yeah, this is going to be a key stat for him. Obviously, he's not getting in any of these points early.
No, he's only won 2 points when Federer has made the first serve, and Roger's only missed 3 first serves so far.
That word resignation that you talked about, this is where he's got to battle that, because you can see how well Roger's playing.
Look who's in the house, John. Just sat down.
Oh, this is a beautiful sight, not only because it's great to see Andre Agassi, who's one of the all-time greats, but that gives you a possible, Chris, indication. I don't know, to me, but can we possibly take from this that the person he's married to could possibly be around when she possibly ties Serena, or Serena possibly ties her? That would be an awesome moment.
And many people would love to see Stephanie Agassi, as she likes to be known these days, here. If
we knew her,
Serena's
Steffi,
there, trying to get to number 22.
Well, I'm not sure if that's the case, but I do know why he's here, because he's with the Turner Agassi Charter School Facility Fund, the second version, which was launched today, and they're raising $1 billion for his charter schools around America.
Wow. I'm just hoping that's the case. I'm not saying, but that increases hopefully the opportunity or chance that it will. And
what'd you say about the Gasquet digging in here?
Well, yeah.
Triple set point quickly.
We showed Andre, and it sets over.
Federer is on fire at the moment.
Remember, Andre got to the finals here at the Open at the age of 35. Played a great match against this guy. So he knows exactly what it's all about to be out there.
Yeah, he had a set all, 4-2 break in the third set, 30-love on serve.
Not that you remember that match.
Nope.
Carefully. Still set point. It's the first ace for Richard. But if you're going to try to fight from low 40 down against Federer too often, you're going to pay the price.
Yeah, that's what happened the one time he lost serve. He was low 40 down, got it back to here, and then Roger played an incredible point. Well, he had that one lined up. Gasquet points to where he should have hit it, but he gets out of at least losing 6-2, 2 breaks. And to me, this is important, even if he were to lose this set, because he needs to get something positive happen. He needs a lead. Feel better about himself than he does right now.
By the way, John, all those percentages, the chance that Federer has to win a set, you know, throughout his career, he has an 82% chance to win the match when he walks on court.
When he walks on the court, I'd figured that.
That's his winning percentage.
Yeah. Is that all?
Still no breaks. Second set on Armstrong, 4-3 for Anderson. Oh boy. Crawl back from love 40 to game point and then give it away.
He does have a tendency to yank the ball, it appears, just sort of lose his balance, his momentum. I never understand this, going backwards.
Serve and volley play, and Federer's passing shot just clips the tape.
Well, I mean, obviously he needs to give Roger Federer some different looks, become unpredictable. So this has got to be part of what he's going to plan on doing as we move into the second or third set.
Serve and volley has not been a real big part of the Gasquet game over the years, that's for sure.
You know, his head's not in the match yet. He's just, you can't try shots from where he was and expect good results. So far, it's just mentally he hasn't shown up. Either A, he's just overwhelmed, which is possible and understandable. He's uptight. He hasn't been able to settle down, or he's just not playing well, we know, but not, you know, hard enough. He should be like more upset with himself by now.
Challenging the out call on the serve. He is in full lather on the human night, as Derek pointed out. Gasquet. Chase review shows that was a good use of the challenge. Only Neely, the American, is in the chair. where he was for the Wimbledon final. Federer falling to Djokovic.
Most of the forehands Gasquet is playing at the moment, he's falling backwards off them. He scampers about 3 or 4 steps back after every serve, and that's why he's dropping a lot of those forehands short. No body weight going through the line of the ball at all at the moment.
Well, Gasquet holds to stay in the set. It was not easy, but now he's got to find a way to get into points on the Roger Federer serve.
Quite a few French tennis players sitting in Gasquet's box supporting him. Eric Winograsky, former player, used to be the coach of Joe Wilfried Tsonga. Cedric Pierlin, former US Open finalist a number of years ago.
Arnaud Clément.
Yep.
We need a Santoro and Escudé, every French former men's player from that generation.
Well, you know, what do you do after you stop playing? You got to start coaching. You got to find a job somewhere. They take care of their own. They're as close-knit team as you'll ever see in Davis Cup, and that's a big reason why they've been so successful. Even guys that aren't playing come to the ties. Where does that happen? Any other country? Negative.
Of course, Davis Cup was the battleground for these two. A memorable win for Federer, part of his great resume. The first Davis Cup win for Switzerland. He dusted off Gasquet, a beatdown on clay. Not to mention the doubles win on Wawrinka over Gasquet and Benito.
Well, it was the only time you saw 8 players perform where there was 4 French men and 4 Swiss players, but all 8 were residents of the same country. Switzerland.
A little better tax structure in Switzerland, I guess. Couple of misses from Roger in this game. Gasquet happy to be just at 30-all.
He should be assuming that Roger's a little wound up about the weather and getting through this, and he's got to try to get, you know, positive, derive some energy and belief from that. Slow things down. Play slower. Well, the idea is to be aggressive is good, but you got to know when you're going to be in position to volley. And if you hit the ball as hard as he just hit it, there's no way you can get to the service line.
Approaching to Roger's forehand can be pretty dangerous, and now Federer with a 4th set point.
Wawrinka has broken to, he's about to serve for the 2nd set.
Things looking very good for the Swiss at the moment.
We can't get an American, you know, into the quarters, and there's 2 Swiss guys in the semis. I mean, what is going on? Send me that's a couple watchers. I don't know.
Well, they're not there yet, John, but it's certainly looking that way as Federer wraps up an opening set in a half hour of excellent tennis by him. Quickly to Armstrong. Patrick McEnroe, Brad Gilbert, Tom Rinaldi as Wawrinka serves for a 2-set lead, guys.
All right, thanks, Chris. Pretty good level of play in this 2nd set, really from both players. Until the 4-all game, Brad, when Anderson get a challenge here on a ball that was called out on Wawrinka's 2nd serve. It's 15-love. He's serving for the set. Pascal Maria in the chair. Chase Rue says that. Caught the back of the line. It'll be a first serve in that game at 4-all, Brad. A brilliant backhand return from Stan to get the break, but 2 really horrendous forehand errors from Anderson.
It's been tremendously high quality from the Stanimal. This is the best I've seen him play by far. All tournament focus and using good tactics.
Has not dropped the point on his first serve in this set. Only 2 in the match.
Yeah, 16 of 26 on the second serve. He's dominating on serve.
He missed that one. Had the backhand lined up. Very clean set.
15.
And Stan, that's just his 5th error of this set.
It's kind of been evident the footwork for Anderson has not been sharp, and he's looked a little bit tentative when he played so aggressive against Murray, and you got to wonder if first quarterfinals are affecting him a little bit.
15 all. Well, another thing too is this matchup wise is that Murray was pretty defensive against Anderson, and Wawrinka is stepping up when he has the chance and pounding the ball. Also showing some nice variety on the backhand with the slice.
He's had great variations of driving the ball, slicing the ball. And he's had a game plan that he's stuck to this whole match.
And Tom, the energy level and the intensity from Wawrinka has been markedly different in this match tonight than we've seen in the tournament.
It has, to pick up on what BG said. He has been dialed in, and a lot of self-talk, a lot of self-encouragement, a lot of fist pumps, uppercuts, and shouts throughout this entire match.
Set point for a 2-set lead. That's going to go out. So Stan Wawrinka very comfortably in front here. 2 sets to love, just 1 hour and 22 minutes. Will we see an all-Swiss semifinal? Back over to Ash, Chris, and John. Guys?
Patrick, thanks. Stan going to the banana there. He looks pretty wrung out. Roger looks very chilled. Gasquet was able to hold at love to open the second set.
You got to think Anderson's a little spent too. He's never been there. He played awfully hard, 4 hours. Wawrinka's lost 1 set. Fresher, clearly. Great opportunity for Stan to reverse the fact he lost 4 in a row to Anderson. 4-3 Anderson head to head. So looks good for Stan as well as Roger.
Still the potential for rain later in the forecast. So Wawrinka will want to stay dialed in, as those guys were saying, finish it in straight sets if he can.
There's a beautiful shot that's been helped. Rogers talked about the bigger racket, the frame helping him on that very shot. Backhands, I don't think it's a stretch at all to say it's better than ever. Absolutely.
This is Gasquet again trying to break Federer's rhythm a little bit, making him wait. In fact, he made him wait in the hallway, John, before the match. Darren was going to interview both players. Roger was out there about 4 or 5 minutes before Gasquet, and then at the coin toss, Gasquet almost pulled the Nadal, kept him waiting.
It's really thrown him.
Not suggesting he was rattled, but
Bradley Cooper's a big tennis fan.
Georgetown Hoya's hat.
Mary Jo's got a big smile on her face. Okay.
Mary Jo.
Tony,
That's
hopefully
a nice
he's
seat tonight.
not seeing that.
Michael J. Fox. Katie Couric. This is a celebrity non-power couples, but seated next to each other tonight. Here's Mary Jo's husband, Tony Godson.
Keep an eye on your wife, will you?
Just at the end of the court.
Check who she's sitting next to. That's all I'm going to say.
You're starting trouble, John. Now, this is where you got to see some fight from Gasquet.
Maybe some
belief.
anger.
Yeah, something. I mean, right away, the double, that forehand sailed.
It's really the forehand before that, though, Chris, that's getting him into trouble. Early in the point, he's dropping the forehands way too short, and he's hitting it with enormous spin. He does have the ability to flatten out the forehand, but we haven't seen that at all tonight. Like that. First time.
15-30.
It's not too late yet, but he better start dialing it up in a hurry.
We mentioned he has been able to change the course of 3 of his 4 matches here after losing the first set, but that of course was not against Federer. And that head-to-head deficit, especially in a hard court, is a lot to overcome when you're trying to build belief, I'm sure.
That's another ball that's way too short. This time off the backhand. Roger steps up, gets himself in great position once again.
15-14.
Looks and says, next time call that baseline ball out, because it was out. But I'll let you get away with it since I hit a backhand winner. And that was almost more fun. Thank you.
Roger.
I was thanking the linesman for not missing the call. How does he turn lemons into lemonade?
Break points.
That ball's way too short.
Meatball just flowing into the service box. Easy pickings for Federer. Roger rolling up, set and a break now.
On the go, download the US Open app for all the latest player news, stats, match highlights, celebrity sightings, and more. Available in the iTunes and Google Play stores.
It's all working for Federer so far. Dominant serving. He's been to the net a lot. Winners off the forehand and the backhand side.
You can say what you will about Gasquet's inefficiencies and lack of intensity, it appears, or belief, but Roger Federer has come out and just is bringing it. He is playing so well right now. You see that backhand he hit the first? I mean, Gasquet thought that's probably one of the best returns he's hit in the match. Roger
30 left.
Took it and hit a winner easily. Here he. All right, I'll change gears, try something a little different. Thank you. Every now and then proving he's human.
Seven aces already.
It's all happening way too fast for Gasquet right now. Just doesn't seem to know what to do, or is incapable of doing it. I would start by flattening out that forehand and just seeing if he can get some better court position. Now that Baldwin's been here often, loves to play.
How's his game?
You know, he was nice enough to come to a charity event I played at my club in Amagansett a couple weeks ago. Trying to raise money from my tennis foundation.
You didn't tell me how his game was yet.
I'm getting to it. Hang on a second. The answer is I don't know, because he wouldn't, he said, maybe next time, getting him on the court. Needed to work on his game a little. And I think he's going to get there. He's a good competitor.
I sense that about him.
He's got to he needs Gasquet needs some of his intensity.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, come on.
It looked like he was going to go to the corner and tap a bathroom break. He wasn't going to cover it with such a good drop shot.
30-15.
I don't know if that was part of the fake out. Watch when he hits his drop shot here. Which direction he goes in. He goes to his left. Like, I'm not even going to bother to cover the court because you can't get there. And he couldn't. Yeah, that's a number two.
How far beyond the net, Darren, did that drop shot land?
Maybe about 3 feet. It cleared it easily. I could see after it came off the racket that it was going to clear easily, and also he's against a little bit of a breeze, so the breeze bunted it down, but it looked like he played it with high percentage. It's quite remarkable, really. Biggest problem for Gasquet here is trying to extend some of these rallies because Roger plays so quickly, and so far in the 4 matches he's played to get to the quarterfinals, he's only had 30 rallies that have gone over 9 shots or more in the tournament thus far.
He's had a really good percentage of winning those rallies too, Darren, but as you're right, he's played very few, far fewer than Gasquet.
There's one. But just trying to extend a rally against him is so difficult because he just turns defense into offense at the snap of a finger, and he's looking for it all the time.
If I told you that the winners column right now was 28-4 in favor of Federer, would that surprise you? No. Gasquet trying to maintain contact until down a break. Every passing minute, John, looking more and more like we're going to see Roger and his countryman Stan Wawrinka in the semifinals here. Wawrinka, after winning the first 2 sets, made to wait by Anderson, who left the court for about 10 minutes, but got the quick break, and it's 2-love for Stan in the 3rd.
That certainly will ease your anger after all that time waiting. Get the break immediately. Looks like Anderson is spent at the moment from that effort to beat Murray. Now everyone's assuming that Federer is going to walk through this. Every indication is he will. But Gasquet's got to step it up. This is where it's almost, you know, he might hit that low, and he's got to sort of break through. There he's got a chance now at love 30. He got his pants pulled down on that drop shot, and since then he's turning it around a little bit.
This is his first love 30 lead in a Federer service game.
Trying to get some energy in those legs. They've seem to be a bit heavy so far.
He's getting some support there from Sebastian Grosjean with that return. He stayed up on that one. It's not the one he likes to do, but at least he went after it.
Oh, he really attacked, charged forward, but the tape.
You know, when you're not quite comfortable yet with that type of ball, it might be easier for him to rip that cross court, safer ball. So he gets a little bit of confidence. The tougher shot is to go up the line. It's just not a good lob. He's got to throw that up a lot higher and a lot deeper, but of course he knows that better than I do. This is frustrating for Gasquet. A mini chance slipping away quickly. Three-love Wawrinka. Double break. Over on that court. You can rest assured at this point that at least one Swiss player is going to be in the semis. It certainly looks like 2. This is the closest Gasquet's gotten to. This is a real chance for him to make his way into this match finally. He's not been in it so far.
Chase review. He did miss.
He's had a love 30. He's back at deuce. He's got a second serve. He's got to go after this. He's furious. He's tentative on that shot. Didn't really go after it. Just looked to get it in. So he rushed forward and then sort of relaxed. Game over.
Perhaps
Roger
the
is
best
getting
chance.
sorry, Chris. Roger is getting a lot of bounce on that second serve tonight. Normally his second serves are around about the 100 miles per hour mark, but tonight quite regularly in the mid 80s. And I think it's a plan for him coming onto the court to try to get it above the backhand side of Gasquet. He's getting more hang time on that serve and more bounce off the court.
You've seen Richard misfire in quite a few returns.
Well, that's exactly what I talked about with Grosjean in the locker room before the match. He said they don't want to get it up too high. You know, you got to take it earlier. So if that ball's jumping, that's a problem. Then you heard Novak last night saying the court was playing faster, which would lead you to believe that it wouldn't be jumping as high, that it would be skidding through the court. So who knows what's really happening.
Sneak attack.
That's where you got to go for him.
First of the night. And that's been something that Federer has been employing a little bit this summer. If you haven't heard by now, I'm sure most of you have, the sneak attack by Roger, S-A-B-R.
I'm just so happy he did it. Just to watch it brings a smile to my face.
Against Isner, prudent thing to just put that little gimmick away.
Wait on it.
We thought we'd see it tonight, and look at that flick return. Gasquet didn't make a move for it.
He's got to expect that that's going to go in. You don't pray or hope it's going to go long. As you watch, I mean, that's got to be a sickening feeling in your stomach if you're Gasquet. It wasn't hit that hard. You got to make more of an effort for that. I'm not saying he would have won the point, but take a swing at it. 4-love Wawrinka.
Good thing for Wawrinka, John, if that unfolds like we expect it to, is he'll save some energy for the semifinals. He won't perhaps arrive as fresh as Federer apparently will, but that's a
well, he's only
good
lost
job
one
today.
set, Stan. So they're both going to be fresh the way things are going.
Just in terms of time on court, but you're right. They should both be ready to go.
It looks to me like Gasquet's legs doesn't have a lot of spring in them.
15-14.
And he's paying an awful stiff price right now. This is set point for sure. He'll go down a double break.
You want to name names where they're talented players, guys who had good game. Gasquet, a former top 7 player that you felt when you were in the Federer position that you didn't have to do maybe quite as much against them, that the will would go away pretty quickly.
Wasn't quite as fit as Roger. He wasn't quite as big. Wasn't quite as quick.
I'm going to say, when you were playing, did you ever sense that from opponents that he was named? Another sneak attack. He's 0 for 2 with that
On a
tonight.
great point trying that. That's a bigger point to give that the old 1-2 right here. He needs to stay down on that further.
The half volley return, he'll show patience with it, but he doesn't want to look foolish if the lost points pile up. He says he'll pull back on that a bit. Easier when you're up a set and going for double break, right?
Oh, much easier. But he'll be thinking about if he were to say lose this game and then lose his serve, then he'd be thinking, why did I try that? So he's got to be careful. I would think that it would anger a guy like, it should anger a guy like Gasquet, sort of rubbing it in. That's how I take it. I don't know, maybe he gets the hold, stays in the set at least.
So Federer, and a chance to go up double break, still in charge 4-3. And apparently, after a heroic battle to beat Murray, there has been capitulation by Anderson on the Armstrong court. It's 5-love as Wawrinka, after 2 tough sets, has had a cakewalk in the third.
You could see he was spent. I thought he'd get a couple games alone on the serve. Thought it'd be a 6-2, but it's going to be a bagel in the third set. Roger didn't expect that to go over, and
even the great one can fluff a volley.
Yeah, and you know, some of that to me, hopefully, if you're a Gasquet fan, you'd be inspired by the fact that you've hung on a couple service games you could have lost already. This set could be over, but he just gave up on that, so that's not a good sign.
15 all.
Roger thinking, okay, I hit an embarrassing volley. We'll come right back and try another forehand volley the next point.
Well, I don't know if it clipped the tape, but it looked like it may have clipped it. There's just no sense at all from Gasquet that he believes for a second he's going to win this.
Dozen aces for Federer. All right, let's go over to Patrick. Brad, Tom, and Armstrong as Stan tries to finish things.
Well, no other way to describe this third set, guys, but just downright ugly. I mean, Kevin Anderson has not been able to find the court. He's won 5 points, 5 in the set. It's match point.
To say he's gone walkabout would have been an understatement.
And Stan, who came out very focused and very prepared for what he thought would be a very tough match, and it looked like it might be early on. And Anderson, remember, had beaten them the last 4 times they played, but the big fella, I don't know if it was the legs, the head, but he had nothing tonight, and this guy will take it.
Stan played solid, had great tactics. Kevin Anderson's feet were stuck in mud. And Roger Federer fans, watch out. 4-0 out of nowhere. We saw a saber from Stan Wawrinka to get ready for Fed.
So Wawrinka through in straight sets. Back to Ash, Chris, and John. Guys?
I love it. Of course, when you're up 2 sets and you're rolling in the third, it's one thing. But you think that the opponent should act insulted when Federer does that sneak attack, or anybody does it?
I'm not going to tell any opponent how he should act. I mean, I'm just saying how I would feel if someone was doing that to me. No. But I'd also think that my chances should go up about winning the point. I mean, that's not an easy shot to hit at all. I mean, he's trying to literally half volley a male professional tennis player's serve and take it and come in on it. That it wouldn't be much of a stretch for me to regard that as insulting. Is my serve that bad that he can do that? And I'd better be ready, but I mean, go at him, try to, you know, do something.
You're also playing serve and volley, John, so the chances of him doing it against you are much, much less. But in today's game, with everybody staying back, it's there for him.
That's the type of return that you say, okay, he's looking to move forward and take an opponent's pace and direct it properly. That's just a beautiful, beautiful return. Nothing a player would say about that. That's just too good. But when you sprint forward, that's a different story. This is like a teacher giving a student a lesson right now.
He's on the net. Federer winning 15 of 19 when he's come forward.
I think Gasquet must see that he's about a foot from the net. He's just ripped, and then he's hitting the ball right to him.
It's long. So Gasquet beginning to employ a little more serve and volley, trying to desperately find any tactic that'll work.
He's being totally outplayed. It has been no match whatsoever, but he's somehow got to tell himself right now, if I hold serve here, I'm down one break. I could get into this match and show that he actually believes that he can get into this match. Stick that chest out a little bit.
Another short forehand by Gasquet that Federer attacks.
30-40.
Gives himself a set point for a 2-set lead.
Maybe Anderson was running in mud, but looks like Gasquet's got ankle weights on because he ain't moving too well either. Hour and 4 minutes. This is perfect for the two Swiss guys. I mean, it's amazing.
Double fault. Hands the second set to Federer. And we appear to be on course for a collision here between Federer and Wawrinka in the semifinals. Third set, Federer off the chair quickly, and already leading 15-love.
That's pain. There's effort that was rewarded. Hopefully we'll see more
briefly after the set.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see more of this in this third set. Match was scheduled to start at 8-ish. They brought it on early, an hour early, because of the threat of rain. Rogers running through 2 sets to love. Gasquet has not shown up, forgot that he had to start playing earlier. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you're going to move forward off the return, but just guide it and not do anything with it. You got to attack it, move forward, but he's not done that. Roger Federer continuing to dominate him. Routine 6-3, 6-3. Gasquet's almost as if he's resigned himself, as you used the word early, Chris, to this loss.
You see the winners count there? I've never seen that in a men's match. 38-5.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And that leads me to believe the legs aren't feeling too good. If you can't even get back to that ball, that is for sure. So Anderson was totally spent.
John, the semifinals are all set now. You've got between the guys who've already
set, but it certainly looks like it's all set.
Fair point. But the 3 men there, winners of the last 4 majors between them, and Federer trying to join them. 3 o'clock Eastern time Friday. Men's semis will begin. Djokovic and Cilic will be first. We certainly hope that Cilic's ankle is not a factor in that. He had to battle 5 tough sets.
Well, hard
over
to think
Tsonga.
in a way that it won't be an issue.
It was swollen though after the match.
Exactly, it was swollen before. He wasn't able to practice before he played Tsonga, so we'll see. He's got 2 days
rest.
That helps. If you look at head-to-head for Roger with Stan, there's another winner. That's 39-5 now. That he'd have won his last match. It's 16-3 still for Roger.
Yeah.
But someone should have told Gasquet, he's 14-2, that it is conceivable I could win this. absolutely doesn't look for a second like he believes he has a chance in hell of winning this thing.
You'd have to wonder, and only Gasquet would know if he had an ounce of belief walking out here. Only has the one career win on Arthur Ashe Stadium. That was in the quarters against Federer a couple years ago. Federer has about 65 wins on this court. The head-to-head, all of it.
Well, you know, it was a tall order because Roger Federer is up, you know, what is he, the first or second greatest player that ever lived? He's certainly right there. And he does everything. There's only one thing I think Gasquet does better, the backhand.
But if you look at it tonight, as he misfired that,
I
I mean, look at the backhand winners, just to break that down. 9-1 for Federer. Gasquet had the most in the tournament coming in. One winner off that side tonight.
I'm getting nervous because now all of a sudden they're going to say that the doubles that were supposed to be played before, myself, Courier, Marty Fish, Michael Chang, we were supposed to play like best of 5 games. At this rate, they're going to want us to play best of 5 sets. Phil, that's, you know, keep people to 10 or 11. This is crazy.
By the way, John, speaking of nervous, you thought there was going to be kind of a sparse crowd for that. Now they're going to want to see more tennis. Are you ready for 20,000 people?
Justin Timberlake.
You ready to play in front of Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon?
I'm not ready. No.
Here's the Chase review. That was just long. So too love.
Oh man, I'm breaking a sweat as we speak.
Good buddies there. I guess what Jimmy would have taped earlier and then booked on out to the Open.
Jimmy's done a great job since taking over, and the two of them go at it a lot on Saturday Night Live. They're awesome, unbelievable, these guys. He's got to be one of the all-time best hosts, Justin Timberlake.
Oh, for sure.
He's reading everything that Gasquet's doing painfully easy.
You know, there's another guy here who would say, wait a second, you're going to anoint best all-time host, Alec Baldwin, who's been here earlier. He stepped there. So wait a minute, I'm in that conversation. Best SNL host.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. He's hosted even.
Oh no!
There in the repertoire, full force.
Pull your own pants down.
39.
Showtime.
This really has been a crazy performance by Federer. I'm not sure that I've ever seen him hit the ball so cleanly.
This is unreal.
Look at this.
This is
42 winners to 5.
Mayor Dinkins, former mayor of New York, enjoying this show. That's a nice red seersucker look with the RF cap.
He said, you know,
he doesn't have to be unbiased anymore that he's the former mayor.
that's true. Man, 80. I think he's 88 years young. What is wrong with him?
40-15.
Falling apart out there.
It's 43-5 in winners. And Federer is one ace away from equaling his highest total at the Open this year. He had 15 against Isner. Right there you go. On cue. Thank you, Roger. 15 aces. Demolition. Domination.
Get Andre some clothes on.
I'd say one of the highlights of the night so far, at least on the perimeter, has been Fallon and Timberlake dancing to Beyonce in the changeover.
That was a good laugh for sure. These guys are on the money. Make a good doubles team.
Gasquet just for pride at this point.
Is he 24, Roger, or 34?
You never know it tonight. Sometimes we've seen Roger in tournaments, John, I think you'd agree, move beautifully through a couple matches. They don't have one where the movement is just off a little bit. Would you agree? And that's when he could get in trouble. But he hasn't had one of the matches at the Open when he hasn't been flying around the court. Hasn't been extended, though.
I can't think of the last time he hasn't moved well. Now that I think about it, I mean, he moved great at Wimbledon. Cincinnati, he was superb. Here.
The match against Wawrinka, assuming this stays on course on Friday, will be certainly a lot more physical.
The match he played against Stan at the French, that was extremely harsh, windy conditions. Maybe that was the last time he looked
30-50.
You know that he's perfect since he turned 34 in terms of not losing a set. Doesn't want, he turned 34 early August. I'm not sure he's been broken much. Zach Gilbert
twice.
says
He
twice.
He lost the cold
right.
serve. He lost the serve twice to him.
So twice in about a month. Some encouragement for Gasquet. The crowd would like to see a little bit more than an hour 17.
Just
the
an
match
hour and a
time.
half.
Yeah. I'm telling you, there's going to be a huge crowd for your Legends doubles match here. Hope you're ready.
I already told you I wasn't. Will you stop asking about it? I haven't even hit today.
Game Gasquet.
We weren't going to televise that, but I think I'll be happy to stay and call that one, John.
I'll stay.
That's okay.
Come on up, Killer.
Yeah, all good with me. Are they going to mic you guys up? Will you be mic'd?
I don't know the answer to that yet, but something tells me that we will have some mics. Yeah.
I'm told you're mic'd, so behave yourself for once.
No reason to go there and say that.
All right. We've had a great time listening. You and Patrick have talked to Jelena Novak Djokovic's wife in the box. So there's Robbie Federer. Mr. Federer has his earpiece in. He can listen to what we're saying. Hello, Robbie. I want to ask you a serious question, though. You've seen Roger play a million matches. Hold up one hand. How many fingers have you seen Roger play better than he is tonight?
He doesn't have that many fingers.
I mean, this is a pretty great performance. It has to be up there.
Yeah, he held up zero.
He held up zero.
Mr.
Wow.
Federer is very impressed, as we all are.
So 0 fingers means he's never seen Roger play better than this. Wow. That's a big statement.
He's playing pretty darn well. That's true.
That's beautiful.
You gotta love it. He's gonna have plenty left in the tank when the two Swiss guys go at it. Friday. What did you say? 3 o'clock?
Yeah. That'll be the second match.
It'll be second match. Yeah. 'Cause they're playing close for Wednesday. Oh, that's just thank you.
What's that, Darren?
Maybe we see if Rog wants to sub in on the doubles.
Yeah, that would be nice. You know, he is in.
Which team drafts him?
Yeah, with me. Yeah.
Welcome back to Prime Time at the U.S. Open, presented by IBM.
No beverage break, John. That's where Gasquet perhaps will be headed in a few minutes to toast a good tournament for him. The quarterfinals. We don't want to disrespect the quarterfinals. It's been a good run for Richard. Good win, certainly against Burdick, but not nearly enough to threaten Federer tonight.
Gasquet destroyed Bernard Tomic. He beat. You talked about the first Kokkinakis. He survived that. Kokkinakis had to retire in the 5th. Robin Haase, he had a battle for 4 sets. So first 2 matches extremely difficult. He's looking to break into the top 10, and you get to understand the gap between the all-time greats and someone who's close to being in the top 10 in the world. He's being absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, he caught Bernard Tomic at a good time as well, because Tomic had to fight that 5-set match over Leighton Hewitt. He didn't have too much in the legs for the match against Gasquet.
But that backhand side we talked about being so flashy and so effective in the tournament. Off the ground tonight, Gasquet has only been able to generate 4 winners. He's playing so far back, Federer moving well. Off the ground, Roger, 12 forehand, 12 backhand winners. 15 aces and a lot of volley winners as well.
His legs look shot, Gasquet's. I mean, he just doesn't have any spring.
Talked about the fact that Wawrinka has lost just one set. He will have played about 3 hours more than Federer, perhaps. May not be a factor after a day's rest in the semis, but we look forward to that collision and to the Djokovic-Cilic, even though Novak has been a nightmarish matchup for Marin. Cilic has come here and defended his U.S. Open title with a lot of heart. And he has battled through some tough matches.
No, he certainly has, and he should be commended for that, especially given the fact that he's had, issues with his ankle, this ankle sprain. His record 0-13, stands 3-16 going in. How does 6-3, 6-3, 6-1 sound if you're a Federer fan? Pretty good, I'd say. He's not aware that Stan Wawrinka destroyed Kevin Anderson 6-4, 6-4, 6-love. So you better believe, Chris, both these guys are going to be fresh in that match.
Federer saved 5 of 5 break points against Isner. Those 3 tight sets. Hasn't faced one tonight.
Last year he had to survive a 5-setter in the quarters, and that caused issues, complicated things where he didn't have as much left against Cilic in the semis. Not going to be the case this coming Friday. Painfully easy.
Federer will make it a 38th Grand Slam semifinal.
So if I heard Brad Gilbert right, Stan actually used the saber tactic against Kevin Anderson. Is that correct?
He said he did it once, yes.
Okay, well, it'd be interesting to see if he does it against Roger. That would be a little psych play, right?
What can you share about?
You're not going to see it from either one of them.
What can you say, Darren, about their relationship at the moment? They've been tight. There's been some tension at times too.
I think they're all good.
They're all good now.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know, I believe they are all good.
When they played London at the year end, that was certainly a feisty encounter.
Sure was.
Won by Federer.
And Federer ended up, because of what went on, didn't play the final. So something went on behind the scenes that we may never know about exactly what happened.
What a breeze tonight. Not even an hour and a half. Double match point. It's long. It's called long.
Well, the challenge, okay. It looked like, well, it doesn't matter either way. But
Roger's not sure. There was some hesitation from the linesman. If his call was right, it's over. Nope.
Ball's out. 40-30.
So Gasquet gets the point.
delaying the inevitable
Yeah.
by 42 seconds.
Or less.
Game, set, and match Federer.
That's including the challenge.
Dominance from Federer. Maybe in this form, nobody can handle him, but Gasquet certainly couldn't. And as the head-to-head dominance continues, and we'll see Federer here on Friday against Wawrinka in another semifinal. With Andre Agassi looking on, he knows how to play great tennis into the late stages in tennis years, but this guy at 34, John, just continues to amaze, to marvel.
We've sat and watched him. I've seen him for the past 15 years, heard about him 5 years before that. And you look at him and you think he's got 17 Grand Slam titles. He's won 1 in the last 5 years, Chris.
Yeah.
And it's arguable what we're watching now is better than we've ever seen from Federer. I mean, it's incredible how well he's playing, how well he's moving, much he's added to his game.
Gasquet to the final 8, which is a good tournament for him, but a nightmare head-to-head continues. We'll hear from Roger momentarily. That match just feel like a blur for Gasquet out there an hour 27. Roger will be fresh for Wawrinka on Friday. Let's hear from him now. Darren.
Roger, well played tonight. You know, I've followed you around the world and I've seen a ton of your matches over the years, but I'm not sure I've ever seen you play or time the ball as well as you did tonight. How do you rate that performance?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think I played a very good match. I felt the ball great from the return. I think it definitely helped playing Isner in the previous round and seeing those massive serves come down. So it was, I don't know, I just felt like I had extra time, you know, because I played Isner before and that helped me a lot in the return. And then my serve worked very well at a very high first serve percentage. I was able to stay aggressive and enjoy myself out there, so it was a great match.
Back into the semi-finals of the US Open. How do you compare last year to this year coming in from a physical standpoint, where your game is, where your confidence is? Because to me, you seem to be a different player.
Yeah, I mean, I think I played very well last year as well. I had a great run coming into the semis here last year as well, having played the finals in Toronto and winning Cincinnati last year. The only difference, I guess, was also I played 5 sets against Monfils on this court to this day in the quarters. So this obviously is going to help me a lot physically, also mentally to save energy. And I hope because of that I might play a better semifinals. But I must also admit that Cilic was absolutely on fire last year.
Absolutely, well said. You play Stan Wawrinka, you probably didn't know, but Stan won his match over Kevin Anderson, 6-4, 6-4, 6-love, so he's playing some very good tennis. Last time you played Stan, he got you at the French Open. Well, what needs to change for you to turn that result around?
Well, I mean, I think Stan played a wonderful match against me in Paris, and I was really happy for him that he went on to win the tournament. He deserved it. He's been such a great player, you know, throughout his career. He always improved a lot, kept on working really hard, and yeah, couldn't be happy to play him here, to be quite honest. 2 Swiss in the semis of the US Open. It's very cool for both of us, and I'm looking forward to it.
Now, I know you tried your little new move here, the saber attack, a couple of times, but I got word from Louis Armstrong court that Stan Wawrinka used the very same move against Kevin Anderson. Are we expecting a little bit of that against each other in a couple of days' time?
We'll do only that the whole match. Well, the longest rally will be like 3 shots.
I like it, I like it. Well done, Roger. Through to another semi-final. You're playing wonderful tennis. Great to see you playing so well at 34 years of age, but you look about 24. Keep it going.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
So Federer within 1 more win of the US Open final, trying to win his first title here in New York in 7 years. Wawrinka will try to get to his first US Open final, John, and if he wins the title here, he would be 3/4 of the way to the career slam. I guess we need to pay off the IBM insights. When the red bar is way over the yellow line, it means you win the set.
This is where the insights look awfully good when you got a guy like Roger Federer to test and come up with these type of results, because anything he tried was working.
Finish up winning 87% of those first serve points, that targeted stat.
He served for the match 76% first serve percentage. 76.
Yeah, it all starts with
winners,
the serve.
21 errors. I mean, we can go on and on. So totally.
What's your sense, though, of the confrontation with Wawrinka here? I mean, as you said, Stan got him the last time. The surface is different, but he's a different player than the guy who lost a lot of those early matches in his career to Federer.
Much different player, and it's a one-sided head-to-head, obviously, even more so on hard courts. But I thought until recently Stan had learned to grow and adapt and prefer playing on hard courts till he came up with that French Open win, because he's gone so big and attacked so much more than he used to. So I would anticipate that Roger's going to be edgier, much edgier, when he has to deal with the guy who can hit the ball harder than he hits it. So we'll see, but that's going to be a very interesting match.
Federer and Wawrinka have now played at all of the majors. The head-to-heads in the 2 semis may be lopsided in favor of Djokovic and Federer in their respective semifinals, but you get the feeling that each could be a battle here on Friday. Federer through 6-3, 6-3, 6-1 in an hour 27, looking brilliant.
Roger Federer is into the semifinals here once again at the U.S. Open. 6-3, 6-3, 6-1 over Richard Gasquet, needing just an hour and 27 minutes. Rain's approaching tonight in New York, and I guess you wanted to get on and off the court, Roger. Congratulations. Very efficient work. What were you most pleased with?
Yeah, I mean, I just think throughout I played very well. I think playing John Isner 2 days ago helped me on the return. I saw the ball really well, and then my serve's been working very well for some time now, but I made a conscious effort of trying to really have a good serving day, and that worked too, and then you put those two things together, and
there you have it.
Yeah, there you have it.
One of the things we've been talking about during the tournament is obviously the new roof and how it's changed conditions. Nobody would know that better than you, how much you play there. What do you think about the conditions out there on Ash Stadium?
I mean, they are totally different to what they've ever been before. Yeah. I mean, we used to get ready for, you know, swirly winds and, yeah, you know, just you never knew what was going to happen, you know, from 1 hour to the next. Now you get in there and there is just no wind whatsoever. So you're really sweating a lot because, you know, the wind has like a cooling effect sometimes, like tonight, for instance. But I think now the conditions are so easy and so comfortable that actually you'll see probably better tennis going forward from here. And even though I believe, you know, these conditions sometimes can be a bit of an equalizer, you don't have that anymore. So
is that good for you? Do you think
I think it's probably better for the better player.
Yeah,
well, you're pretty good, so I'd say that's
right.
That's
maybe, but I won't be around for the next 100 years. But looking forward to the next 100 years with the roof now, it'll be a different tournament.
You know, one of the things that I've noticed an improvement is the whole summer you've been really dialed in, and I'm all for focus, and it just seems to me that you're just more focused now. Are you aware of that? Are you in a certain place?
Well, I mean, I think when you're confident, you're playing well, things are easier, so you don't stress out as quick.
But you can still get out of the rhythm and, you know, get out of...
I guess you could, but honestly, I've had a really rock solid last year and a half. So I think I know what I'm doing right. I can analyze it very quickly when things are not going well and why that's happening. But at the same time, I'm very fit right now. I feel fast on the court. So when I go out there, I have a really positive mindset, and I enjoy myself. And then maybe that's what you're seeing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Roger, it's always been one of your great weapons, and so much has been talked about now. Your advanced age at 34 years of age for the sport of tennis, much like Serena, and yet your movement is still so perfect and so quick, and you're still so nimble on the court. What do you attribute that to?
I mean, I hope that all the hard work I've put into the last 20 years, but particularly the last 10 years, are paying off. It kept me injury-free, kept me away from big injuries in matches, but also in tournaments and throughout the season, really. Of course, also, I play in pain sometimes, and of course, I also wake up in the morning. I'm not, you know, fresh like a daisy, but nevertheless, I think right now, I really made a conscious effort of when I'm working out with my fitness coach Pierre or with Severin on the practice court, it's that we do a lot of explosive stuff. That I play a lot of points also these days. I used to not play that many points in practice, but I did that a little bit so to keep the rhythm. Yeah, and then I just think I push myself every day, you know, to be nimble on the court, like you said.
No disrespect to the players you played in the tournament, because obviously all tremendous players. But now, to me, the tournament starts for you, because you've got next up your buddy Stan, who's obviously taken his game to another level. Right. Then obviously Djokovic and the defending champ. Where do you assess where you're at, and also the other three players left in the field?
Well, honestly, I thought I had a pretty tough draw from the get-go. It was Leonardo Mai in the first round. I said it very clearly in the press conference going into the tournament that was going to be a really
well, he had match points against you 6 months ago.
Exactly, in Shanghai, yeah. Right. So for me, it started tough, and I think that's where I had right away ultimate focus from the start. I thought these were true tests with Kohlschreiber, Isner, and now Gasquet, but I got through them very quickly. So yes, I'll try to look at Stan as now the first test in the tournament, even though I did feel I had to focus extremely hard against Isner and get through that. And today I'm happy, once I got into the lead, I was able to keep that up. But like you said, Stan's a different animal. He's up there, he's won his Grand Slams, he's been consistent also at slam level. He's reached, I think now, 8 of the last, of the 9 last majors, he's made 8 quarters at least or better and won 2 of them. So it shows that in best of 5, he eventually finds his rhythm, and then he's very tough to beat.
How is Stan now being very competitive with you after you rattled off all of the wins for the first part of your rivalry? How has that changed your rivalry and your friendship? He was your teammate just last year in Davis Cup.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is, like you said, I saw him grow up a little bit. I didn't see him when he was 14 or all that, but I always thought he was a guy who took a step back, 2 steps forward. Step back, 2 steps forward. Every time you thought like he got it figured out or he's made his move, he needed the extra time to then, you know, really take to the next level. And I think he took his time. He worked extremely hard because we share the same fitness coach. Severin helps him out as well as at tournaments. So we really know a lot about one another, the way we play, what our preferences are and all that. But it's been really interesting to see his rise, and I couldn't be happier for him because through hard work and dedication to the sport and sacrificing a lot of things, he made it work and became unbelievably successful. And I love watching him play when he's on fire because he's got capabilities that not many other players have, and sometimes no other have.
He's got a big upside to his game.
And I'm happy he found that level.
What's going to be the key when you? Is it still going to be all about the serving and the returning? Is there going to be any other aspect that you're going to be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, obviously on a court surface like this where the balls, they go fast here, I must say. You've seen like big servers like Anderson or Isner.
Right.
They make it tough for you. So I definitely think it starts with that, number one. The focus goes there, number one. But then in the rallies, we know each other very well. We know the percentages. We know how we can surprise one another. I think I might be overall maybe slightly more consistent. Stan will go through phases maybe. Not sure. That's just a guess of mine. That's where the focus on the serve of both ends needs to be.
That's when you really have to focus.
By the way,
I
know you heard about it from Darren on the court, but Stan pulled your move. You know,
I heard. I think that's awesome.
So we have it for you.
You have it? Oh yeah, let's see.
He was way up in the third. So I mean, it's not quite.
Not quite, but it is.
Pretty good effort, right?
Yeah, totally.
So maybe.
And he won the point.
You're starting another trend in tennis, Roger. Your trends continue to be.
I love it.
You know, from like having all these long rallies, now we're going back to like 2, 3 shot rallies like in your day. I mean,
you know,
and then we need to go back to the rally.
Are you kidding? Right.
But anyway, it's good to see Stan doing that.
Yeah.
Well,
Back in your day.
Good luck.
Yeah, my pleasure. Of course, always.
Keep playing.
Have a great weekend. Roger Federer, everybody. Thank you, Roger. We're going to continue prime time at the U.S. Open. After a quick break, we're going to take a look back at last night's match with Djokovic and Lopez.